Thank you for joining me on the journey. This is Completed Christianity. So welcome back. Another episode of Being Complete. And today is Shabbat. We continue our validation of the law commentary and still right here into the book of Romans. And we continue talking about Abraham and the favor that was given to Abraham. So the favor that was given to Abraham through the promise, we left off, I believe, last time with verse 15. For the Torah works out wrath, for where there is no Torah, no law, there is no transgression. So today, modern Christianity want to say, oh, the law's done away with. Well, if the law's done away with, then transgression's done away with. If transgression's done away with, there's no sin. If there's no sin, we don't need a Savior. So now we have a problem. Now we can save ourselves. This is the plan of the enemy. The plan of the enemy is to do away with the standard, the law of the Father. Because it's because of the law of the Father that we need His grace. We need His Messiah. We need His salvation. We need His redemption, because we can't do it of ourselves. But the plan of the enemy is to say, hey, you can do it yourself. You just like in the garden, hey, your eyes will be open and you'll be like Him. You can do it on your own. You don't need Him. This is the plan of the enemy. So in this video, or this next verse here is probably, this whole video is going to be just on this one verse. Because this verse, I think, is important. And it's going to bring in these three verses, 14 through 16. So we'll read 16. On account of this, it is a belief, and that it be according to favor, for the promise to be made certain to all the seed, not only to those who are of the Torah, but also to those who are of the belief of Abraham, who is father of us all. So the way this is typically read, typically taught, typically translated, I don't know of anywhere else that says what I'm going to say. But we have to say what I'm going to say, because what's normally said is a contradiction to verse 14. So normally it's saying that the promise is made certain to all the seed. So all the seed is not only those who are of the law, but also those who are of the belief of Abraham. And so the belief of Abraham is the faith that's once delivered. This faith that was once delivered, it was delivered at Mount Sinai by Yah Himself to Moses through Moses. Okay, it didn't come later, and we're going to see a little bit of that here in a minute. So here in this is the John Gill commentary, and John Gill, he died in 1771. His commentary overall is pretty good. Nothing anybody does is completely perfect, and his verses on prophecy, his interpretations are very good. But with this, he says here on the not only that which is of the law, it's to the Jews who are said to be of the law. So not only that which is of the law, he's saying that references the Jews, but to that also which is of the faith of Abraham, that is to the Gentiles. And so to the law, to the Gentiles. So the promise being sure to all the seed, it's not only to the Jews, but also to the Gentiles. That is not what this is saying. And when we come back here and we look at verse 14, verse 14 says, if those who are the Torah are heirs, belief has been made useless, and the promise has been nullified. But then we're saying that verse 16, this is typical teaching, that verse 16, that those who are of the law, that they are heirs, that they do have the promise. So this is a contradiction, but of course it's not. It's just that it's being interpreted wrong, read wrong, it's been cherry picked, not looking at the full context, not looking at the full hermeneutics here. So by 14, if those who are of the Torah are heirs, then belief is made useless. Okay, so but he says, and the promise has been nullified. For the Torah works out wrath, for where there's no Torah, there's no transgression. So on account of this, it is a belief. Okay, so on account of the Torah working out wrath, and that where there's no Torah, there's no there's no transgression. On account of this, it is a belief that it is according to favor for the promise to be made certain to all the seed. So what I'm going to say here is that, okay, the object here is the seed. So it's not only those who are of the Torah, but also those who are of the belief of Abraham. So it's not two separate people. It's that you got to be both. Okay, you got to be both. You got to be of the Torah and of the belief. It's not two separate things. Okay, so Hebrews 3 here at the end, okay, it says, and to whom was he grieved with for 40 years? Was it not with those who sinned, whose corpses fell in the wilderness? And to whom did he swear that they would not enter his rest, but those who did not obey? So we see that they were unable to enter in because of unbelief. So the people he's talking here are the people in the Exodus, the people in the transgression of the Exodus, who that in the 40 years in the wilderness, that those who sinned, those who rebelled, those who were in unbelief, that their corpses fell into the wilderness. And so when we come over here to chapter 4, it says, therefore, since there remains a promise of entering into his rest, and we've done a video on this, let us fear lest any of you seem to have come short of it. So verse 2 here, this is where what we're looking at. For indeed the good news was brought to us as well as to them. Them are those at Mount Sinai, those who fell in the wilderness. Okay, the good news was brought to them. Okay, so what was the good news they received? The law. The law is the gospel. The law is the good news. It's not just, this, it's death, burial, and resurrection of the Messiah. That's part of it, because that's part of the word. But the law, all the words of the Father, it's all good news. Every word from the Father is good. So, for indeed the good news was brought to us as well as to them. But the word which they heard that did not profit them, not being mixed with belief in those who heard it. So they had the law, they didn't mix it with belief. Okay, that's what's going on here in verse 16. It's not two separate people. It's that you got to be both. You got to be of the law and mix it with belief. Okay, you got to believe in Messiah and his ability to justify your past sins. You got to believe in that, and you got to then keep all his commandments. You got to work out your salvation with fear and trembling. The works they speak of are always the works of the law. They're always the works of the law. Psalm 89:34, my covenant I will not break, nor alter the word that has gone out of my lips. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Comment down below. Comments of opposition are welcome. Just don't say anything dumb like we're not under the law. Word of grace, because you've been taught to use that verse outside of the bounds of its intended context. Subscribe now. Smash that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get notifications of all future videos.